Hello everyone, my name is John Flores. I am from the great country of Kurgan. I will be giving a brief overview of drone policies as far as policy within our border, military drone policies, and some legal aspects to both civilian-owned and government-operated drones. First, I'm going to start off with drone use within our borders. So within our borders, surveillance drones will be used to detect, eliminate, and prevent any possible events that could lead to the loss of life, property, or sense of security. It's within our national security's interest to use both surveillance and lethal drones to ensure the safety of Kurgan. Now, the use of lethal drones will only be used to protect Kurgan if need be. Such drones will be utilized only by trained and certified personnel who work in local, federal law enforcement, and that could also include any federal or military contracting agencies. The use of surveillance drones will be used to oversee our country's borders. That could help identify any possible threats that may present themselves. This includes, trafficking of illegal people, weapons, or narcotics. This helps keep a controlled amount of illegal immigrants flowing into the country, and also illegal weapons and drugs. Surveillance drones will be used to identify any possible military action outside of our borders that could require military mobilization if a threat presents themselves. So if in case any of our neighboring countries mobilized units to our borders, we'll be able to detect that very quickly. In such instance, the use of lethal drones will be used only if a military threat presents itself. Border security can use surveillance and lethal drones only with proper authorization and with reasonable cause. Now I'm going to talk about some of the legal aspects of civilian-owned drones and government-owned drones. So as far as civilian-owned, like those you can buy in a store, they will have to be registered with the government within 24 hours of purchase. This helps us keep a check on how many drones are being sold, who's buying drones, and will also give us a background information on the people who buy the drones, so we kind of be aware if any red flags are risen. The civilian-owned drones will also abide by privacy laws that prohibit photography and video and audio recording of government buildings, events, and members of government. Civilian-owned drones will also respect the privacy of others and will not target people directly to capture images or video without their consent. Failure to follow any of these laws could result in a fine, imprisonment, or both. Now, the government also has its own laws for drones that it must follow as well. The most important one being that the use of lethal drones will never be used on the citizens of Kurgan under any circumstance. Surveillance drones will be used to gather intel for local and federal law enforcement for the protection of others and themselves, and they will never have to ask for permission prior to gaining material from the citizens, but there has to be some sort of reasonable intent by the target before they go and capture images or videos of anybody. So with this reason, the people of Kurgan understand that there is a balance between privacy and national security. We have to have balances in both, so I'm glad that the people of Kurgan understand that, and it's supported by the government and the common people. Now, as far as military drone use, surveillance and lethal drones will be used outside of Kurgan borders in times of war or conflict. Military surveillance drones will be used to obtain images and video of high-value targets to help in Kurgan missions and their allies. High-value targets will be primarily individuals, locations, environments, groups of interest, and any other points of interest. Surveillance drones will be used to gather military intelligence in foreign lands that could aid in the creation of military tactics, operations, and foreign policy. Kurgan also has a large pool of drones with lethal capabilities that will be used to assist missions and carry out its own operations. The use of lethal drones will never be used on innocent civilians or the destruction of hospitals, schools, or religious architecture. Only Kurgan military will be able to operate both surveillance and lethal drones outside of the Kurgan borders with proper authorization by the Kurgan government. So therefore, any military operated drones will only be used by certified and trained military personnel.